All right, Boxer and Gerson guest line. Alec Ingold, the fullback for the Miami Dolphins, joins us live on Willard and Dibs. F.P. Santangelo is in for Dibs. Alec, thanks for your time today. What's going on?
My man, so excited to be on the call with you guys. How we doing?
No, we're thrilled to have you, and we want to know all about that whack nut job Mike McDaniel. What's it like playing for that dude?
The genius himself.
Yeah.
It's pretty freaking awesome, man, especially to be a fullback in that system. I mean, the amount of things that he can put on your plate, to all of his, scientific, he's in the lab cooking stuff up, but then to articulate it to everybody in the room, oh, man, it's a blessing to go through some of those position meetings, team meetings, offensive meetings. Dude, you learn so much about football. It's so fun.
See, just watching you guys on Hard Knock, Alec, and you were one of my favorite guys this year. I mean, just your story, your personality really gravitated towards you. But talking about Mike McDaniel's, it seems authentic. And do you think that you guys have had to have success for that, the way he coaches to work? Or is he just a super authentic guy? He seems like he cares about you guys. And at the highest level, a lot of times you feel like a piece of meat, right? I'm just a number, whatever. They can cut me, they can release me. But some of the better coaches I ever played for really cared about you. Dusty Baker comes to mind. He seems like he's from that mold where he really cares about each and every one of you guys.
Yeah, that's a great question, too, because the authenticity starts, right? That's a cornerstone of how he teaches, who he is as a human being, the vulnerability that he has as a coach. That really started everything, and I think we've had success because of that. I don't think you need the success first for that to shine through, which is really special. It's a different type of way to approach things, and I think we've really bought in throughout the couple of years.
Alec Ingold is with us here on 95.7 The Game, fullback, Miami Dolphins. Now, Pro Bowl, fullback,
Pro Bowl.
Yeah,
congratulations.
It sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't it sound good?
It sounds good, and it's hilarious that the intro can just keep adding one little notch to the belt. That's really why we do it.
Who knows where we'll be by the end of this interview? It'll be incredible. But Alec, you played the Chiefs a few weeks ago. They're not all that, right?
I wouldn't say that, Coach. I would.
Yeah, neither did I.
Over there, man.
Yeah. What do you think?
It's unbelievable how difficult they make everything happen for you. Offensively, defensively, they make it tough. You got Chris Jones, and he's like the number one guy on that defense, right? But it's all of the people that you can't list off the top of your head that do their job, the Drew Tranquils, the Willie Gay, the Leo Chanel, all their linebackers, their front, they play together. They're a tough task for anyone, and that's why they're in the Super Bowl again, man.
And they stopped your running game, and obviously there's a lot of talent there. Do you think, being around the playoffs in the postseason, we're talking about maybe it's just another game for the Chiefs, even though it's the Super Bowl, and maybe the Niners get caught up in it. But in your experience, did you feel that playing against them, that, well, these guys have been there and done that, and we're a little overamped maybe for a playoff game?
I think the environment was crazy. -30 may have played a role into it.
Yeah, just that. No big deal.
Yeah, that whole thing. No, but my big takeaway was the AFC Championship game. When you saw them win, you didn't see guys crying, hugging, jumping for joy. It looked like they expected to be there. They shook hands, and then they went up to the podium like it's just another day at work. And I think that's what's so special about that culture. They win. It's in the bricks. And that's what we're trying to build down in Miami, is building that into the bricks.
So how does that affect a game like this coming up Sunday? Because we're trying to work through that. It's not like the 49ers are some new entity to late season football, but Brock Purdy certainly is. And so the most experienced Super Bowl quarterback against Mr. Irrelevant who's never been there. How does that affect this game?
I mean, you got the talent on the 49ers side of the ball, but when I saw that Patrick Mahomes has a Super Bowl routine, I was like, okay, this guy's a little different. This guy's a little different right now. So, no, I think it's going to be a great challenge. And I think the 49ers are the most talented, and they've come from behind the last couple of weeks. So they have the culture there. They have the mental toughness and fortitude. So I think that's why it's going to be a heavyweight match.
Oh,
do you think they can screw around and come from behind again, Alec, or do you think it's important for the Niners not to do that on the biggest stage against maybe the hottest team and the best team in the NFL?
I would say so if they haven't done it before. but they put it on tape, man. They've done it. And I think that's really what's going to carry through to whoever has the ball last. It's going to be back and forth. It's going to be an exciting game. And it's going to be fun to see all of that talent, all of the great coaching. I mean, that's what you want out of a Super Bowl.
Hey, Alec, unless you were injured, and I don't think you were the guys who were out here when Brock Purdy first stepped on an NFL field when Jimmy Garoppolo went down against the Dolphins last year. What do you remember from watching Purdy come out and play?
I remember Jimmy G going down, and it was a tight game at that point, and it's like, okay, everyone's taking a breath. The backup's coming in, unknown. Let's go win this thing on the road. We had a great record going into that game, and then Purdy was like, the moment was not too big for him immediately. He was running the offense. They were running the same calls, the same system, and that's so hard for a quarterback coming in to the middle of the game. You might not have the right or the perfect plays set up for you to run it, right? But for him to go out, execute, get it to the playmakers, they didn't miss a beat. They were crushing it, and it was a tough game for the Dolphins. We had a long flight home.
Well, what makes a good quarterback to you? I mean, you're in the league, you play. Like Tua, does he command the huddle? Is it confidence? Is it, making the big plays? Because we're hearing all these labels with Brock. He's a game manager. People are loving to hate on him right now. But in your estimation, not the obvious, but if you go deeper than the obvious besides the stats, in your mind, you've been in those huddles, you are in those huddles, what makes a great quarterback?
I think watching him in the NFC Championship game, with a bloody nose, with a torn up leggings, running down with his shoulders, just ripping off 27 unanswered points in the NFC Championship game. I think that has to go and prove that you have faith no matter what the game is giving you. That guy gives you a chance to win. And it's those little things, man. It's just like you said, walking into the huddle, the halftime adjustments, it just never seems so too big for Brock Purdy, and I think that's what is going to be proved again in the Super Bowl. He's going to show up and he's going to execute, man.
Alec Ingold is our guest, fullback, Miami Dolphins. Alec, give it to us. Your favorite Mike McDaniel moment since he showed up?
My favorite Mike McDaniel moment is probably when he called his shot, and I think this was documented on Hard Knocks.
Oh, yeah.
When he's like, you know what? This is going to be a one-play drive. Get ready. We have the defense. Jalen Waddle, 60 yards against the Jets. I think that was the coolest thing ever. We literally go to the sideline. Our running back coach pulls up the Microsoft Surface, and he's like, boys, Mike called this on the headset. It's going to be a one-play drive. And it was like, holy cow. This guy's calling his shots. We can go out and execute. That gives you confidence as a ball player to play for that man.
Yeah, he saw he was in the right play against the right defense. My favorite one, dude, was during the national anthem when he was standing behind Dan Marino. He's like, "We're coming for your records, Dan." Or it was before the national anthem. I was like, "Oh, this is great," because I know Marino's around a lot. I mean, and so they know each other. It was all a good fun. But I love the fact that he's just screaming at Dan Marino. Like that went viral. I got to ask you, Alec, just having you on the show right now. Do you think about life after football? I know you're in the moment right now and you're a Pro Bowl fullback, but like you could do, I mean, I think the modern day athlete thinks about what's next a lot. Like you could do this, what we're doing for a living. It's pretty obvious just talking to you for 15 minutes.
Yeah, I love talking football, just being about it, eat, breathe, sleep football. So I think that's a big thing about it. I also love the mental health aspect, the mindset of showing up into a huddle. So if that's coaching one day in the mindset of the game, if it's on radio, man, I think that's all going to be a lot of fun once this ride ends.
Hey, Alec, have you seen this Paramount Plus Tua Super Bowl commercial?
Yeah, so we're on the buses heading to a Pro Bowl practice. And you know how normally a commercial might show up on social media?
Right.
You get the first 15 seconds, you scroll past it. I watched the entire 6-minute video with the volume all the way up because it was that great. It was perfect. It was so funny.
It's so funny, but how about when Sir Patrick Stewart looks at him and goes, not built for the moment, eh? I mean, like I wondered how that resonated with your locker room, but I also loved that Tua was like, yeah, I approve that. We can have some fun with this.
It was the perfect balance of like self-deprecation from Tua. Like he played around with it, but it was a jab. It was like, all right, Sir Patrick, come on, man.
So good. So, hey, I got to ask you a serious question before we let you go. The 49ers win if, and the Chiefs win if. I mean, you study film. You know these guys. You know these guys. You forgot more football than we'll ever know.
Christian McCaffrey touches the ball 25 times. I think the 49ers win. He's too good, man. The running game is outstanding. And I think the Chiefs win if they don't turn the ball over. If they can run the ball well, if the offensive line can stay ahead of the chains, I think those are the two big things. And as a fullback, man, I would love a lot of running happening in the Super Bowl.
It seems like it's set up for that. I mean, you went against that Chiefs defense and just told us why they're so good, but you think the Niners can run the ball?
I think they can if they stick with it. And the amount of weapons that they have and the flexibility that Christian McCaffrey gives you, it doesn't have to be 25 carries. It can be 15 carries and 10 more catches, right? And seeing him out of the backfield a number of different ways, I think he'll be the X factor for me.
You're in what is being called the Shanahan system. Does that mean, because it sounds to me like you're kind of pulling for the Niners. Are you pulling for the Niners?
I mean, I got my guy Kyle Juszczyk over there.
Yeah.
The more fullbacks that we can have winning Super Bowls, the better.
Yeah, because how many of them are there in the NFL?
I'd say there's about 20.
Okay.
And we have a couple on our roster, and there's a number across the league. But it's cool to see the fullback position alive and well with Juice, with the Ravens, with Patrick Ricard. A lot of guys are playing a lot of different types of fullback, which I love.
Does your wife Alexa make jerseys and stuff out of jerseys? Does that go along with the fullback thing?
No, she's a big fan of Christian Juszczyk. I got to get her number, see if we can get something dialed up for next year.
Her number has been ringing off the hook.
Yeah.
We've been trying, Alec. It is ringing off the damn hook.
It's unbelievable, and it's so cool to see his wife in the spotlight and absolutely crushing it. Yeah. I mean, that's what football's all about, man.
Alec Ingold, by the way, before you go, speaking of all the fullback love, fill in this blank. The greatest fullback of all time is?
Larry Zonka, and I sat behind him on the flight out to Vegas, and I was starstruck. Every time I see him, he is the man.
We are going to clip that and send that to our coworker, Lorenzo Neal, and then I don't know what's going to happen after that, Alec.
He might do a little stamp of, validation, but if I could build my perfect fullback, Larry Zonka's toughness, Lorenzo Neal's blocking, Mike Allstott's running, and Kyle Juszczyk's receiving. That's the Mount Rushmore of fullback right there.
Dude, Zonka had that little youth thing off the top of his helmet that came down. Was it a nose protector? Nobody wears those anymore.
Should I bring that back for like a game, just as like a nod?
If you go neck roll and that would be baller, dude.
That'd be so sick. Mike McGlinchey's trying to keep it alive and well, and we need it in the fullback position.
Alec, we will have Christian Juszczyk make you a stamped Alec Ingold long jacket and send it to you if you can help us get McDaniel on the air Friday. Can you do it?
That's a deal. I'm shaking your hand virtually right now.
Okay. I don't even know if I can hold up my end of the bargain, but I am damn willing to try.
Me neither, but hey, we're both here. We're both fighting for it.
Alec, tons of fun, man. Thanks for coming on.
I love it. Thank you guys for the opportunity. Have a good one.
All right, there he is. Alec Ingold.